Story 1. Hey there, everyone. My name is Maddie, and today I'm going to tell you about the time my crazy mother-in-law turned my life upside down. It all started when I met the love of my life, Sam. He was sweet, charming, and made my heart skip a beat. I thought I hit the jackpot with him, but little did I know that his mom, Mary, would soon become the monster-in-law of my nightmares. So, Sam and I decided to tie the knot. We were over the moon with happiness and couldn't wait to share the news with our families. I'd heard some mother-in-law horror stories before, but I brushed them off, thinking, nah, that won't happen to us. Well, I couldn't have been more wrong. The moment we broke the news to Mary, she looked like she swallowed a sour lemon. Instead of the expected hugs and congratulations, she muttered something about being too young for marriage and stormed out of the room. My jaw almost hit the floor. The first signs of her monster-in-law behavior surfaced when we were planning the wedding. She insisted on a massive guest list filled with people we'd never even heard of. When we gently suggested keeping it intimate, she threw a fit like a toddler denied candy at the store. "Mary, we just want a small, cozy wedding," I said, trying to remain calm. But she shot back, "No, it's my son's wedding, and I want everyone to see how perfect he is." Fast forward to the big day, and Mary made her grand entrance wearing a gown that could rival the Queen's. I have to admit, she looked stunning, but did she really need to overshadow the bride like that? As the ceremony began, she loudly sobbed in the front row, stealing the attention away from our vows. When the priest pronounced us husband and wife, Mary clapped so loudly, I swear I saw the chandelier shake. Later on, during the reception, she cornered me and said, "Listen, I hope you know I'll always be the #1 woman in Sam's life." I chuckled nervously, trying to play it off. "Of course, Mary? But, I think there's enough love in his heart for both of us." The monster-in-law didn't stop there. After the wedding, she would drop by unannounced, redecorating our home and reorganizing my kitchen. I once found my underwear neatly folded and color-coded, and I couldn't decide whether to be horrified or amused. Just kidding, I was creeped out like no tomorrow. One day, while having lunch with my best friend Jess, I vented about Mary's constant meddling. Jess laughed, saying, "Girl, you've got yourself a classic Justamil. Head over to our Justamil. You'll find your people there." And oh boy, she was right. As I discovered the subreddit, I realized I wasn't alone. Hundreds of people shared their own monster-in-law stories, and it felt like an enormous support group. Anyways, one day, Sam and I had invited Mary and other family members over to celebrate our first housewarming. We were thrilled to show off our new home, and we'd put in so much effort to make it cozy and beautiful. As the guests arrived, I greeted everyone with a smile, hoping for a peaceful evening. But deep down, I knew Mary had something up her sleeve. She couldn't resist the opportunity to rain on our parade. After a delightful dinner, Mary asked to use the restroom. No biggie, right? But when she came back, she had a wicked grin on her face. "Maddie, dear, I noticed your bathroom could use some sprucing up. I brought a few decorations from home. I hope you don't mind." Before I could respond, she'd already hung up a hideous painting of a sad clown. I kid you not, it was like something out of a horror movie. I tried to hide my shock and thanked her for the gift. But things took a turn for the worse when she added, "And I thought you could use this too." She placed a tacky plastic flower arrangement on the kitchen counter, making it look like something from a dated '70s sitcom. My jaw hit the floor, and I could see Sam cringe beside me. It was clear she wasn't trying to be helpful, but rather making a statement about my taste. Still, I swallowed my pride and said, "Mary, that's very thoughtful of you, but our decorating style is a bit different. We prefer a more minimalist look." Her response? "Oh, I see. You're one of those modern couples who think they're too good for a little color in their lives." I was done being polite. "No, Mary, it's not about that. We just want our home to reflect our personality." The tension in the room was insane. "Well, if you insist on being so dull, I suppose there's nothing I can do about it." I felt my blood boil, but I didn't want to ruin the evening for everyone else. So I took a deep breath and said, "Mary, we appreciate your thoughts, but we'd prefer to choose our own decorations." As the night went on, I couldn't shake off the feeling of being undermined and disrespected in my own home. It wasn't just about the ugly decor. It was about Mary's constant need to control and belittle us, specifically me. Then it happened. A few months after that, we returned home one day, expecting a relaxing evening, but instead, we were in for a shock. As we stepped into our house, we noticed something was off. There was a faint smell of potpourri, and the living room looked a bit too tidy for our liking. And then we heard the sound of someone rummaging through our kitchen cabinets. I glanced at Sam, and his eyes widened. We tiptoed towards the kitchen and peeked inside, only to find Mary, in all her glory, inspecting our pots and pans. "What on earth is going on?" I whispered to Sam. He shook his head, clearly at a loss for words. "I have no idea. Let's go talk to her." We cleared our throats to get her attention, and she turned around, wearing the smuggest grin I'd ever seen. "Oh, hi dears. I just thought I'd stop by and stay with you for a while," she replied casually. "You could use some life tips from your dear old mother-in-law. Plus, I'm starting to feel lonely lately. So, it's a win-win." Oh, my blood was boiling at this point. "Mary, this is our home. You can't just barge in like this. We need our space and privacy." She waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, don't be silly. You'll love having me here. Oh, by the way, I set my things in your room. I'll be staying in it if you don't mind. It's more convenient for me to be honest with you." Sam and I were shocked. Was she serious? We had to put a stop to this madness. "Mom, you can't stay here. We never agreed to this, and it's not okay for you to impose yourself on us like this." She scoffed. "Well, I thought you'd appreciate my help. You two are so young and inexperienced." That was it. I took a deep breath and said, "Mary, we appreciate your concern, but we're adults, and we can handle our own lives. We need you to leave, right now." She looked taken aback, but her smugness quickly turned into anger. "Fine, but don't come crying to me when everything falls apart." Sam escorted her out of the house along with her bags, while I stayed behind, trying to process what had just happened. We'd had enough of her invasive behavior, and it was time to take a stand. After she left, we sat down together and had a serious talk. We both agreed that enough was enough, and it was time to cut contact with Mary. It wasn't an easy decision, but for the sake of our sanity and happiness, it was necessary. We changed the locks and made sure to secure our home. We blocked her number and social media accounts, and we informed our close friends and family about our decision and why we took it. In the beginning, it was tough. But as time went on, the weight lifted from our shoulders, and we felt more at peace than ever. Looking back, cutting contact with Mary was one of the best decisions we ever made. It wasn't easy, and there were moments of doubt, but in the end, it was the right choice for us. So, to all you brave souls out there dealing with overbearing monster-in-laws, remember this: you have the power to set boundaries and protect your happiness. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself and create the life you deserve. Sometimes, cutting toxic people out of your life is the healthiest choice you can make. Stay strong and stay true to yourselves. Story 2. This happened to me in a gas station once. I was 17, so legally could not have worked there because they sold alcohol. When I was a teenager, everyone said I looked quite a bit older. The owner of the gas station mistook me for one older lady who worked there. I didn't realize it at the time, but this lady looked exactly like me, just older. I'm getting a Red Bull, and I hear, "Have you clocked in yet?" I didn't think he was talking to me, so I kept on looking. Suddenly, this 50-plus-year-old man is standing right in front of me. Like stranger danger close. I was in college at the time, but still, I was 17. I backed off and put my hands up in front of me. "What are you doing?" he almost screams at me. "Get in the back. I don't pay you to drink our goods on the clock, and put on your work shirt. We have a dress code." I was terrified. I'd never been in a position like this before. I stammered something like, I think you're mistaking me for someone else." But with my adrenaline pounding in my ears, I couldn't even be sure that's what I said. I turned and started walking quickly towards the door, almost in tears because that's what anxiety does. And about to steal the Red Bull I forgot was still in my hand, when I got a yank on my shoulder. "Come back here." Something kicked in. I remembered the Red Bull. I threw it right at his face. This was a big 20 ounces can. Dude let go and ducked. I made it outside and stood by my car watching the door. This was before I had a cell phone, so I didn't know what to do. My parents lived over an hour away. Two things happened then. The owner came out of the store and a cop pulled up and parked. He must have been on a munchie run himself. The store owner had apparently realized his mistake because the lady he mistook me for had called out sick, but he hadn't gotten the message yet. When he saw the cop outside, he assumed I'd called them and started apologizing all over the place. I wasn't sure what to do, but I felt like I should at least make the owner show the cop the security tape. He kept downplaying it and claiming, "Oh, you can barely see anything at that angle." After reviewing the tape, the cop called my parents and we pressed assault charges. The owner lost his business and faced prison for 4 months because I was a minor. But the scariest part was how much the woman looked like me. If the dude had just handled the mistaken identity better, it would have been a much different story. Edit. I've been seeing a lot of comments along the lines of, "This was overreacting. You ruined his life. Don't be a wimp," etc. Had this incident happened to me now, as an adult, I would have reacted differently. I would have spoken up for myself instead of trying to just leave. Almost 40 years is a lot of time to gain knowledge and experience to handle situations that are tense and dangerous. Unfortunately, at 17, I was not equipped with this knowledge or experience. This was a small college town. I'd been in school away from home for only about a month at this point. Some of you may call that sheltered and wimpy, and I'll admit, sure, maybe I was at that point. And maybe I was about to leave with something I hadn't paid for. I was panicking. I never said I was in the right. The ultimate point is an adult man touched and manipulated the body of a minor girl without consent. It wasn't in a sexual way or really all that violent, but in the USA, that is against the law. And yes, it was super convenient that a cop was right there. Like I said, it's a small college town. If he hadn't been there, I don't know how this would have ended. I did not ask for the man to lose his business. I had no control over that. Whether it was because of what happened to me or not, I hope he learned something from his experience and maybe changed his behavior towards others. Story 3. Now, let me start from the beginning, where things took a hilariously unexpected turn. Imagine a sunny day at the local park, with families frolicking around, kids laughing, and dogs joyfully chasing balls. Ah, the perfect setting for some good relaxation, right? I was there, soaking in the sunshine, when I noticed a frazzled-looking woman with a cute little dog. Let's call her Lisa. She had a worn-out expression, and her child, let's call him Timmy, was coughing uncontrollably. It was evident that Timmy wasn't feeling well, poor kid. Being the friendly and compassionate person I am, I approached Lisa and struck up a conversation. Turns out, her little pooch, Baxter, was more than just a pet. He was a certified support dog, trained to provide emotional comfort and stability for Timmy, who suffered from anxiety and severe allergies. Baxter was an absolute superhero in dog form. Now, enter our villain, the infamous Karen. She came barging in like a bull in a china shop, huffing and puffing. She didn't waste a moment to interrupt our conversation, making it clear that she had a bone to pick. Or, in this case, a dog to snatch. "Karen, excuse me, but that dog is too cute to be just a pet. I demand you give it to me." Lisa and I exchanged incredulous glances, not sure how to react to this bizarre request. "Lisa, excuse me, Baxter is not just a pet. He's a certified support dog for my son's health conditions." Karen scoffed, clearly not interested in hearing Lisa's explanation. "Karen, I don't care. My little Timmy, yes. She had a Timmy too, needs a cute dog like Baxter to cheer him up." Lisa, understandably frustrated, tried to reason with Karen, explaining how important Baxter was for Timmy's well-being. Lisa, I'm sorry, but Baxter is specifically trained to assist my son. I can't just give him away. Plus, he's family to us. Karen's face turned a bright shade of red, and I had to resist the urge to burst into laughter. This woman was relentless. Karen, you don't understand. My Timmy needs Baxter more than your Timmy does. Hand him over, now. Now, at this point, I was ready to whip out my popcorn and watch the show unfold. But before things could escalate further, a park guard approached us. Talk about perfect timing. Security guard, ladies, is there a problem here? Karen immediately seized the opportunity to play the victim. Karen, oh, thank goodness you're here. These people are refusing to give me their dog. It's an outrage. The guard, a wise man, listened to both sides of the story attentively. After hearing Lisa's explanation and even having a quick chat with little Timmy, he saw right through Karen's entitlement. Guard, ma'am, it's clear that Baxter is a trained support dog and is essential for Timmy's well-being. You cannot forcefully demand someone's assistance animal. Karen's eyes bulged with anger, and she lost her temper, spewing a series of insults that would make a sailor blush. But no amount of verbal attacks could sway the security guard's decision. Guard, that's enough, ma'am. If you continue this behavior, I'll have no choice but to call the authorities. Lo and behold, Karen's bluff was called, and she begrudgingly stomped away, muttering obscenities under her breath. It was both satisfying and hilarious to see her plans unravel before her eyes. But wait, there's more. After Karen stormed away from Lisa and me, still fuming with entitlement, she wandered around the park like a thundercloud ready to burst. It wasn't long before her temper got the better of her yet again, and she found herself in a heated argument with an elderly couple who were peacefully enjoying a picnic. Now, this couple, let's call them Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, were the epitome of sweetness and tranquility. They were simply minding their own business when Karen decided to unload her fury upon them. Karen, how dare you sit here? This is my spot. Move. Mr. Thompson, with a twinkle in his eye, calmly responded, Oh, my apologies, ma'am. We didn't realize spots in the park had owners. We'll gladly move if you can show us your name engraved on the grass. His gentle sarcasm only fueled Karen's rage. She launched into a tirade, berating the poor couple for their audacity to exist in the same vicinity as her. It was at this point that park security was alerted to the disturbance, and they hurriedly made their way to the scene. Karen, still seething with entitlement, refused to back down. Even in the face of security, she continued to unleash a barrage of insults, believing she was untouchable. However, she severely underestimated the power of the park security team. The head of security, a burly but good-natured man, approached Karen with a stern yet calm demeanor. Security head, Ma'am, we've received multiple complaints about your disruptive behavior. It seems you've caused quite a commotion today. Karen, ever the drama queen, scoffed and replied, Oh, please, these people are just jealous of my presence. I demand you release me immediately. Security head, I'm afraid that won't be happening, ma'am. You've been verbally abusive and disruptive, which is a violation of park rules. I'm going to have to ask you to come with us until the police arrive. The smugness on Karen's face vanished like a soap bubble popping. She realized she had pushed the boundaries too far this time, and her entitlement was about to land her in hot water. As the security head attempted to escort Karen away, she refused to comply, digging her heels into the ground like an immovable rock. Her face twisted with rage, she decided to take matters into her own hands. With a shrill scream, she charged towards the security head, fists clenched and eyes ablaze. The security head, caught off guard by Karen's sudden burst of aggression, took a step back, raising his arms in a defensive stance. But fear not, my friends, for the security team was well prepared for such situations. Before Karen could reach the security head, his partner, a quick-thinking officer armed with a taser, swiftly stepped in. With lightning speed, he activated the device and aimed it at Karen, releasing a bolt of electricity that coursed through her body. Zap! Karen's enraged charge was abruptly halted as the electric shock temporarily incapacitated her. She froze in place, her limbs twitching like a malfunctioning robot. It was like witnessing a real-life episode of Dance Dance Revolution gone horribly wrong. With Karen effectively neutralized, the security head wasted no time in handcuffing her while she regained her senses. It was a surreal sight, watching the epitome of entitlement rendered helpless and defeated. The onlookers, a mix of amusement and relief, couldn't help but cheer for the security team's swift response. Karen's attempt to defy authority had backfired spectacularly, leaving her humiliated and facing the consequences of her outrageous behavior. And so, my fellow Redditors, Karen's tale takes yet another unexpected turn as she writhes in discomfort. The taste of her own entitlement, no doubt bitter in her mouth. The police arrived shortly after, their arrival marking the end of Karen's reign of entitlement. As they led her away, her protests and demands for special treatment fell on deaf ears. The park had been restored to peace, and justice had prevailed once again. Karen, who once believed she was untouchable, had met her match in the form of a security team dedicated to maintaining order and ensuring the safety and enjoyment of park visitors. So, let this be a reminder to all those who think they can trample over the rights and well-being of others in the pursuit of their own desires. Karma has a way of catching up with you, and entitled tantrums rarely end in victory. So yet, dear listeners, may your own encounters with entitlement be nothing short of entertaining and, most importantly, devoid of tasers. Story 4. Today I was shopping for my family at the Midwest's best grocery chain, something that I dislike on Sundays as it is a madhouse, and therefore I usually order my groceries if I procrastinate until Sunday. But I needed a little break from my amazing family after so much togetherness over the last few days. We buried my dear mother-in-law Friday after an aneurysm that shocked us all. Like I said, I needed a break, even though I am on chemo, and took it yesterday. I do Saturday so I don't miss work and so my students don't see their teacher looking deathly ill. I digress. Back to the story. As I mentioned earlier, I dislike shopping on Sundays. But here I was ready to tackle the crowds with my on-a-mission stare, and one headphone in listening to a book, the other dangling out so people could not only see I was listening to something and therefore not approach me, but also know that I could hear them if I was in the way or something. The big red M has products in the front of the store, and their employees wear blue-collared shirts with khakis or black pants, or a blue apron with khakis or black pants, and always close-toed shoes, and a visor or ball cap. Today I'm sporting a navy shirt with red, purple, and light blue flowers, jeans rolled up to just above my ankles, platform sandals, and my pink sunglasses on top of my head. I look nothing like their wonderful employees. And since I'm pushing a blue shopping cart and looking at produce, minding my own business when Karen first makes her appearance. Karen clears her throat. I move to the side assuming she also wants to look at the blackberries in sale 5 for $5. My book is getting interesting so I don't pay her much mind. Karen, then clears her throat again. Excuse me. Me? I am sorry. I'm almost done. Midwestern manners kick in and I hurry up. Karen, exasperated, I said excuse me. Me sorry? I'm sure I looked as thoroughly confused as I was at this point, since I had only taken a quick moment to get my 5 pints. Karen, are you done yet? Mind you, I'm walking away with my cart at this point, so yeah, I'm done, dummy. Me, all yours. They all look good. It's a good price, huh? Karen, yeah, but I want the ones you got since it looks like you got the best ones. Me, I think they all look good, sorry. I turn to leave and go to the bananas. Kay, well, that was rude, she says loudly and at no one in particular. I keep shopping, laughing at how I've just encountered a Karen of sorts, but thankfully made it out unscathed, or so I thought. Next up is the bakery department. I'm picking up some sweets for my boys 4 and 6 and my husband for breakfast since my husband is in mourning, and will be taking the boys into school, leaving me to get some grading done before my students get to my school. Karen re-entered the picture just as I picked up a 40% off package of donuts score. Karen, I was going to get those. Mind you, I had them in my cart before she was in the area. Me, okay? Well, that stinks, I think. Oh, here we go again. Karen, it's not fair. You are taking all of the good stuff for yourself. Me, well, I guess get ahead of me then. Karen, no, you need to share with the other customers. Me, I believe store has a first come, first served policy. But whatever. Karen, customers should not have to wait for you to get their stuff. Me, still not realizing that she thinks I work here. Whatever, hun, I don't have to cater to you. I walk away with my donuts. Karen, I said I wanted those. I am ignoring her and walking away. Karen was not at all happy about this. Karen, give me those cookies. Me, they're donuts, and no. Karen, you can't just take what you want, give them. Me, still walking away, I got them first, and it looks like I can and did. Toodles. Big grin on my face, I went up and down the frozen aisle quickly, as all I was getting was popsicles for my boys. I'm in the fish department, which also hosts bacon for some reason, when Karen makes her way to me again. She says to some innocent older lady, "Don't you hate when entitled brat employees take things and hide them for themselves?" The lady nervously smiles at her as she continues, "They think they are special, and they ignore the paying customers." I actually laugh hard at her nonsense, and respond as the lady and Karen are blocking my path. I always assume that they are not working, on break, or something. I've not worked retail in many years, but I think everyone should at some point, as it helps one appreciate how difficult it can be. The innocent lady smiles at me and says, "You are so right." This enraged Karen, but she's yet to go off, so I keep shopping. I am looking at the wine selection, trying to figure out if I want to get another bottle, or actually drink what I have at home when again Psycho Karen approaches. I naively thought maybe she heard me when I said I don't work in retail. Nope. Karen, I suppose you're going to get some wine too. Me, nope. I am going to drink what I have at home. But this is good if you are wanting a decent bottle. Karen, I should have known you're an alcoholic. Me, laughing what? Karen, an employee who uses their discount to get some cheap wine. Ha, you are sad. Me, actually you, my dear, are the sad one. And I don't work here, so please leave me alone. I'm done with your entitled behavior. Karen rips my headphone out of my ear. It's a cheap pair, but still. Karen, how rude. Take those out. Me, excuse me? Do not touch me again, lady. Karen, I have had about enough of you and your sad alcoholism. Me, that's funny. I've had about enough of you and your abusive behavior. And for the record, I drink about once every few days, a glass at most to unwind from my not here position. I know that I worded this poorly. Karen, do not lie to me. I know you work here. Me, no, but I shop here regularly, so maybe you've seen me here. I've never worked for M. I know for a fact that no employee looks remotely like me. Karen, yes you do. You're wearing their colors even. Me, so because I'm wearing a different blue, with red flowers, I work here? Karen, you effing yes, she said effing, not the actual word. Work here. Me, laughing hysterically at my Karen in the wild catch. Yeah, okay lady. Karen, wait here. I'm getting your manager, and you'll be sorry. Oh, and she reaches into my cart and takes my donuts. I laugh, and take them back. Karen, red in the face management. Manager, manager. I walk away, and surprisingly 2 other customers come up to me. Customer 1, what the heck was that lady's problem with you? Me, I don't know. I guess she thinks that I work here, and employees must bow down to her. Customer 2, you handled her so well. I would have been frantic. Customer 1, I know you from somewhere. Are you my kid's teacher? Me, I am a teacher. Who is your kiddo? Customer 1, kid's name. Me, laughing, yep, how's his project going? We chat, and then go back to shopping because we hear Karen still hollering about needing a manager, and none of us wanted to deal with her brand of crazy. I head to the other, non-grocery side of the Mega Mart, get what I need, and head to the checkout feeling grateful that I managed to get what I needed without further incident. Or so I thought. I'm standing in line, cart full, when I hear the voice of Karen. "Karen, let me in front of you. I already reported you to your manager, and she said she'll talk to you later. Employees should go after customers." Hands on hips expectantly. Me. I don't know who you talked to, but again, I don't work here. I have waited for 2 other customers to get through the line beforehand, and while I appreciate your cart has less than mine, I don't think I'll offer you anything since you have been insufferably narcissistic and have displayed downright disgusting behavior. Karen, that's it. The nasty woman hit me. She actually hit me with her cart. "I'm getting your manager. You'll be sorry." She took off yelling again as I began to unload my cart. I'm pale in the face because today is the day after my chemotherapy treatment, and I am so not happy with this lady and her nasty attitude. Normally, I would have let someone with a few small items go ahead of me, but not today, as I just want to get home and get to bed. I'm lucky enough my chemotherapy doesn't render me bedridden like it does many people, but I don't exactly feel great. The kind employee notices my sheet white appearance and asks me if I need assistance, and said that they'd already called the manager after the incident with the lady, and normally I would say no thank you. But I take him up on his offer and sit in the blue benches in front of his lane, while he and another employee unload and reload my cart. They even put in my perks code for me. This store really is the best. The manager comes up as I'm getting up to pay, Karen in tow. "Manager, is this the lady you're talking about?" Karen, "Yes. She's still here. Now take care of her. She was so rude, and she took all of the good things. I bet she steals too." Manager perplexed, She isn't an employee. She shops here often, ma'am, so maybe you've seen her." Karen, "You're telling me she doesn't work here?" I do not understand why you are covering for her. She stole from my cart." Customer 1, who I think was waiting around for Karen, is in line and says loudly, You stole from her cart. She just took it back." Karen, "Well, employees should not get the discounted things." Manager, "Ma'am, employees are allowed to buy whatever they please. And again, I'm sorry, she doesn't work here." Karen, "She's a thief." Me, "Please, just let me be. I'm feeling quite ill. But if you need to look at a video or something, I'll wait. But can you please put up my frozen popsicles?" Employee who saw her hit me, "Manager, I think you should look at the video in my lane too." Karen, "I did nothing wrong." Manager, "No one said you did." He raises an eyebrow. Some other employee came out. I think he was store security. He says, "Manager, I think you'll find the lady in pink was repeatedly harassing the lady in blue and even hit her." Turns to me, "We can produce video if you want to press charges." Me, "I just want to get home. I think I'm going to be sick." Karen, "Call the cops. They'll see she's a thief." Me, "Okay, I'm so over you, lady. I will gladly wait for police to arrive, and I'll press charges as you have harassed me repeatedly, attempted to damage my headphones, and hit me. I have never stolen anything in my life, except a piece of candy when I was 5. And I felt so guilty about it that I went back and tattled on myself and paid for it." Manager, "Let's calm down." Karen, "Liar. You stole my donuts." Me, very calmly and sweet as can be, "No, I merely took back my donuts that you took out of my cart." Employee, "Let's review the tapes." Me, "Gladly, but can I please sit? I'm really not feeling well." Karen, "Faker." They called the police, and the police officer reviewed the tapes as Karen sat there smugly with a poop-eating grin, expecting vindication. Police officer asks for our statements. Karen jumps in first. I'm visibly sick at this point, and the officer asks me if I'm okay. I tell him I'm in chemotherapy and I don't feel good. This seems to anger Karen, who begins yelling at me as it is now my turn to speak. The officer asks her to shut up. She doesn't. So he handcuffed her and said she was going to be charged with disrupting the peace regardless of whether I wanted to press charges against her for harassment and repeated assault amongst other things. She went more pale than me, which is saying something. The manager gave me a gift card for my troubles and said with a wink in her eye, if I ever wanted a job, I could have one. I did press charges which I would have dropped. But since she made me throw up in public, I wanted her to be humiliated too. I plan on using my gift card for some classroom items, tissues and hand sanitizer, and food for my homeless students. I told the manager I didn't need the gift card, but she insisted, and when I told her what I am using it for, the $20 became $100. My students are going to have food for the weekends for several weeks. Thank you, Karen and M. the Thrifty Acres.